Hello and welcome back to Seaside Garage and this wonderful Auto Union or DKW Junior from 1964. So this wonderful rare DKW belongs to a good friend of mine who, by the way, bought the Trabant that I had a couple of years back. There's a playlist somewhere about that one. And I'm slightly out of my comfort zone. I don't know a lot about these. This is from 64. My main interest is in the cars from the 80s and the 90s, but I really enjoy this and I love two-stroke engines. You probably know that already. So this is very interesting. And this is a 3-cylinder, 800 cubic, 34 horsepower, I think, two-stroke water-cooled engine with a self-lubricating system. So this is very advanced, at least from the 60s. And I gotta say, it's way above the Trabant at least. It's very different from the Trabant because this is not a freewheeling two-stroke engine. Normally you would have freewheeling to avoid overheating going downhill, because going downhill at high speed you probably will let go of the throttle. That will also let go of the lubrication into the engine and it will get very, very hot and possibly heat seas. This got self-lubricating system, and that self-lubricating system, you will just fill in two-stroke oil into this and it will spin using this little very, very, very tiny belt, and then squirt oil directly into the carb, I think, and into the engine. Carburetor is over here. According to Bjørn, who owns this car, he can get it up to 17 kilometers on a liter, which is very, very, very impressive for a two-stroke engine. And it's also very comfortable to drive. You wouldn't expect it to be this comfortable, but it's actually not that bad. This is a very rare car. It's very old. It's very hard to get parts for it. There's an issue with the gearbox, for instance, that the first gear would like me to keep my hand on the gear stick. I don't suspect it's supposed to be like that, but getting the parts to fix stuff like this on this car is not very easy. Bjørn is struggling to get the parts he needs. He needs to do some work to the brakes also. Those are also hard to get. That's just part of the charm of owning something rare. You cannot just go and buy the parts, because if you could, it would probably not be very rare. But as mentioned, it takes some getting used to the gear system, but it's actually working pretty well. This is third gear, and being a two-stroke, it likes to rev and wobble. But it's actually driving pretty comfortable, being a car from the 60s. One thing though, there's no seat belts, and you don't have to have seat belts in a car like this old, but it does feel a little bit like forgetting to put on your underwear when you go outside your house, because it feels so wrong not to have a seatbelt on. And it's not a car with a lot of features. I will go through all the stuff that the interior can do in a minute, but there is not a lot. There's a speedometer, there's a temperature gauge, there's a fuel tank gauge, and much like myself, Bjørn is a kind of guy who likes driving and running projects, and in that spirit, the speedometer is not working, the fuel gauge is not working right, at least. The temperature gauge, I doubt that is working. I have been driving for quite a while and it's showing completely cold. I doubt that's the case. So not a lot of stuff in here, and most of it broken. But the car itself is driving wonderful, and that is the most important thing. But I know that Bjørn is trying to fix all these things, getting a new speedometer cable and so on. But it takes time on a rare thing like this. It's a very enjoyable thing to drive. It's very fun. And it actually is pretty torquey. There's not a lot of power all the way down low, but as soon as it gets going, it just woohoo, drives. And that sound, it's very hard not to smile listening to that. Maybe in a world where it was the only thing to own, you wouldn't be smiling that much, but now it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's like having 3 very, very mad mopeds inside the engine bay. And unlike the Trabant, this is not air-cooled, it is water-cooled, but it doesn't have a water pump. It's just using the circulation that happens when the water boils to just move around. So it's a very, very simple setup. The beautiful thing about two-stroke engines is the simplicity, the very few moving parts, and it is pretty polluting. But other than that, it's a way more simple engine than a normal 4-stroke engine. And driving a thing like this, you get the feeling that this was one of those points in time where the world went down one path, and it wasn't the 2-stroke engine, at least not in cars, path, but it could have been. It's just a matter of which countries were the richest and so on. I think if the Eastern Blocs, this is not an Eastern Bloc car by the way, but if the Eastern Bloc had more luck, we could have went down this way, and I'm sure you could make the 2-stroke a lot less polluting than back then. And it's a very more simple engine, so in a way it would have been an interesting thing at least. But for now, the 2-stroke are just staying in our weed whackers for a bit longer, I think, and then it will just be electrical engines, and probably not a lot of new 2-stroke engines will be produced soon, I think. Not sure though, who knows where this world is going. 2-stroke speed and power, and slow gear changes to avoid destroying anything rare. This is fun. Thank you, Bjørn, for letting me borrow this. Look what I found parked right there. This is exactly what I was talking about. That's a point in time where the world kind of went down 2 roads. The 2CV and this DKW. You could get both of them at the same time. But 2 very, very different ways to build cars, that's for sure. Okay, now I'm gonna tell you something that probably will surprise and shock some of you. But English is not my main language. I'm Danish. In case you were wondering, it probably wasn't. But the thing is, driving this DKW or Auto Union is a bit special for a Danish person like myself, because DKW, as the name was in the beginning at least, I'm not sure when that changed actually, stands for Dampkraftwagen in German, which is steam driven wagons. And that company was actually founded by Jørgen Skafte Rasmussen, which I'm gonna take a chance that at least he got some Danish genes in him, but that's a completely Danish name at least. Later on, DKW became a part of the Auto Union. It was 4 car makers who I was just almost hit by a tractor. It was 4 companies who joined forces, and the logo would symbolize that by 4 rings. And of course that later became Audi. But it feels a bit special driving something that at least got some Danish DNA in it, because Denmark is known for complete failures when it comes to creating cars and vehicles. We got a lot of electrical vehicles that, not a lot, but a few electrical vehicles which all failed quite miserably. I am planning to getting one of those at one point. I'm not really into electrical cars, but the story about the Danish electrical vehicles is so fun that I could end up trying to buy one of those at one point and trying to fix one of those up. I am impressed by the power delivery of this car. It just got way more torque than I was expecting. I'm not moving mountains, but I am moving this small tiny DKW. I think it weighs at around 600 or something kilos. It's not a lot, but it is a 4-seater and it's actually quite big. It's a 3-door though, but the boot and the interior space it's pretty impressive. I'm getting used to this gear system. I can start to enjoy this little 2-stroke beast. Probably not a beast, but still, it's very enjoyable to drive. Having to keep your hand on the gear in first gear is a bit annoying though. But other than that, it's fun. Right over there is the Danish Skoda Museum. I think I should do a tour of that place one time. Maybe they will allow me to drive some of their older Skodas. That could be fun, because that's an interesting place. The Skoda doesn't really have anything to do with Denmark, so it's a bit weird. We got a Skoda museum here. I'm still in 3rd gear, just to show you the pulling power of this, the torque. Still in 3rd gear. I think that's pretty impressive actually. Now that it goes uphill, still have power to pull. It's a nice little engine. I'm gonna park this car up somewhere and show you that engine and the wonderful little simple interior up close. It's one of those cars where people smile and wave when you drive past them, because the sound and of course the Smurfy color and the design is, you have to at least react when you see it. You probably couldn't see the face of that guy, but he was almost smiling up to the ears. I was thinking Peugeot right away when I saw it, but Peugeot actually had the Lion before DKW, but it's very Peugeot-like, just a bit more posh. I love the foot space in a car like this with no tunnel in between. It's a front-wheel driven car. There's nothing down here. It's just a completely flat floor all the way down. And with the original rubber mat, which is also impressive. This is a very old car. It's in very good condition. We're talking around 60 years old after all. Over here we have a mystery button that does nothing. It's just put in with a plug. I'm pretty sure that's not original. Then we have the light switch over here. The choke over here. This, I love this thing. This is the party piece of this car, I think. This is a rubber ball that I can push. The pressure you generate with your finger will push the windscreen wash onto the windscreen. Really nice. But not only that, you can also spin it to the left and the wiper will start up. I wasn't expecting it to do because the car is not in ignition, but apparently it got power all the time. But this is a lovely little feature. I love the double functionality of it. It doesn't take a lot to make me excited, but I'm excited for this one. Then you got the light switch to change between high beam, low beam. You got the indicator over here, which is confusing me a lot because they are normally over here, on many cars at least. And then the gear stick up here with the different 4-speed and a reverse, of course. Reverses down and forward like that. Then we got the heater control, cold air, hot air, and up and down. Ashtray, of course. Probably a power outlet. It's a 6-volt car. Nice sturdy doors with a very solid, when you just shut it, a nice shape to the glass. I'm honestly not really sure why that is. Probably just to get it all the way down right there. I don't know. And then one of my favorites, quarter windows. I love these. Way too few cars got them. But interior wise, that's pretty much it. There's covers on the seats, but I actually think they are decent underneath it. I think he's just trying to protect them. Got a DKW blanket for the cold days. A nice little hat and a lunchbox. It's very authentic. Nice place to be. And then we just have this tiny little 3-cylinder 800 cubic engine. 3 ignition coils going directly to the spark plug. A fuel pump down there. A fan that is also the dynamo, I think, of the generator. I'm not sure. It's a 6-volt. I think it's a dynamo actually. Charge relay over there. Starter engine down there. Drum brakes like on a 2CV all the way at the gearbox side. Steering rack up there. And a big water radiator. Not the ideal place for a radiator behind the engine, but it wouldn't fit in front, of course. And some heater control valve, I think it is. And a very big coolant hose going into the engine, which is scary looking. Bjørn, you better do something about this soon. Oh, and an empty washer bottle. That's probably why that washer system wasn't working. It's just drained. I'm just gonna fire it up. A lovely little thing. A bit loose. The belt is a bit loose. That sounds great. But this is going to be all for now. I love wrenching on cars, but driving old weird stuff, test driving them, that's a lot of fun too, and I hope you guys enjoy watching it also. This will be all for now. Remember, you can support me by buying some weird merch in my merch shop. There's a link down below, or becoming a Patreon. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. I got a wasp in here, and it's not just the engine.